another episode of MelaninDads. I have, if not the most specialist person that could join me on my podcast. It's the final boss of any video game. It's the actual final boss of my video game. It's my lovely, smart, sophisticated, savvy entrepreneur herself, Miss Queen Ja. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I was waiting for the cue of India Ivory, brown skin to come on.
Yes, it was so many different adjectives I wanted to throw out there for you that I got lost in what I wanted to. There's so many things I could describe you that I couldn't think of all in one sitting. I should have wrote everyone down.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate you.
No problem. So, as you know, I've been really trying to, I think for you, it's really been the hardest as far as, not getting you on here, but thinking of what the best, topic or even discussion that we could discuss that I would feel like will really set the bar, if that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you for having me on here. Honestly, I feel honored.
As you should, damn it. But I wanted to bring you on here to cap off the season 2 finale. So you're going to be the last person, the final boss of season 2, and I don't think any other special person that I could think of other than the lady of my heart and the mother of maybe only of one of my kids, but the mother to all of them, the mother of dragons. So I usually give like my audience like a backstory, and I feel like our backstory is an amazing backstory. So if you don't mind, I would like to just give my peeps kind of a little history of us.
Oh, Lord.
If that's okay.
Go ahead, babe. It's your world. I'm just living in it.
Well, you're going to be a part of it too. You are a part of it.
Whenever you give me the floor, do your thing,
all right, baby. Okay. All right. So you start off. Go ahead.
You just said you were going to.
Hey, listen, I did, but I'm gonna hop in.
I feel like I really feel like I want to hear your side, your version first, and then if I need to clean it up or change anything, I feel like that would make it a lot better.
Got you. Great. Thanks for that. So, well, you were the actual first person that I genuinely loved as a kid. And I mean, it's kid love, so it was what it was at the time, but I at the time when we did meet, I don't know, you're somebody that when I, of course, when anybody looks at you, they're already, captivated by your beauty, but that's only skin deep. And I don't know, we were kids. I generally loved you. Of course, like, any kids, sometimes you grow apart, sometimes you don't. We grew apart that time, and life hit. You had a son, I had 2 sons, and then we came back together like Voltron. And so we one day you were just like, hey, I'm cool with going to City Hall, and my procrastinating ass is like, oh man, that sounds like the easy way to go. Sure, great thing, like, let's go down there. I know I want to marry this girl, because I always had the idea I wanted to be married at by 30, which I did. But at the time, you really don't know what it really means to be married until you're actually married. Or I guess you have a better sense of it. I don't really know, but You know, it was such an experience, through the process of just, you know, you know, butterflies, you know, going down to City Hall, standing there, not knowing what to say or what to do. And, you know, every thought in my head was like, I really want to make this woman happy. Um, you know, she deserves it. If she's asking me to marry her, then I gotta be the one.
Wait, I asked you?
Well, not, I mean, you didn't get on one knee. Is that what you're saying? No,
I proposed marriage.
Huh?
I proposed marriage. I was the one with the proposal. You're saying.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if you raised your hand and said, "Hey, let's go get married," but I don't know. I know one day we was like, you know, smoking marijuana, and you're like, you know, you're like, I really could see myself marrying you. I said, me too. And then you said, well, we could go to City Hall.
What?
And I said,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give me,
that's your story. Come on. I'm sorry for interrupting.
If you want to give me the credit, sure. But yeah, so that was kind of like the backstory. Then we went to Yerkes, you know, got married. It was, besides Juju. Now, prior to Jubilee being born, this was definitely the icing on the cake. But this is, you know, marrying you has been the second most life-changing and beautiful event that's ever happened in the entirety of my life.
Aww, I'm great.
Besides our daughter, and you could see why that tops it.
Oh yeah, I don't mind about that. That doesn't faze me. Cool. Yeah, it sounds like a lovely love story.
All right, what you gotta say, Stephen King?
No, I mean, that's basically like the gist of it. I mean, I always tell people that you were my first, I guess, quote unquote, boyfriend that I could acknowledge, that I could, you know, come to my parents and, you know, or the elders in my family and say, hey, I have a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Because before then, anybody that I had, I wasn't able to be like, oh, I have a boyfriend, whether I was sneaking on the phone talking to them or whatever the case may be. But you were the one that was allowed to come in and sit on, first one that was allowed to come in the house, you know, that was allowed to sit on the couch, that was allowed, you know what I mean? I was able to go out on actual dates, you know, even, you know, if it was to Red Lobster, because that was our date. Red Lobster.
Shout out to Red Lobster in Springfield.
Was our dating,
R.I.P.
Our dating place. But at that time, you know, I was 16, you were 17, we were in high school together. I was just coming through, you know, puberty or whatever the case may be. So I feel like I was in a place of, you know, finding my maturity. You know, we were kids, but you have always had a sense of, I guess, like, by the book, or, you know, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but you were a little more serious at that time than I was. So it was like boyfriend, I guess boyfriend didn't really settle to me where it was boyfriend, like, you know what I mean? So, I wasn't really, you know, you were looking at forever at 17. And I was looking at, hey, I have a boyfriend, we're having fun, you know. So we were at two different places, you know what I mean? Even though we had similar lifestyles, life aspects, you know, life journeys that we have kind of been on. It was like we were at two different points at that time. So I wanted you to go on and, free your wings, because at that point I was too mature and I didn't want my immaturity to take a hold of you and, turn you into something that you weren't meant to be. So at 16 and 17, 18, whatever the case may be, we party ways. And I always wished you the best. I've always wished that you would come into this beautiful woman that would give you all of your heart's desires, because you deserved it. You were such a great person. You were such a great man. And, I remember, I tell people this all the time, or tell you, I was in Burlington Coat Factory with my cousin about 3 years later, and then I saw you walking with Jaden's mom, who's our oldest, and she was pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh, Julian, he found someone and they're having a family. I was just so excited, creeping through the clothes racks. That made me feel good, because I felt like, you had found somebody who, you loved enough to, share that world, your world with, you know what I mean, to bring your life into this world. It was a really good feeling seeing you like that. But the funny part is that I've never, through all those years, even with us staying connected, whether it was through social media or whatever the case may be, I've never in my mind envisioned us together again. It was always like, oh, Julian, I wish him the best, never like, oh, me and Julian, we could be a thing, or I wonder what life would have been like if I would have stayed with Julian. But the funny part is that who you were to me then, or who you showed me, or what you showed me then, was always a requirement that I had, was always the standard. I never went below that standard of what I expected to be treated like, or how I expected to be loved, how I expected to be honored. I never went below that platform. So it was kind of like you, the standard for what I expected, you know what I mean, my love to, so, but I never was like, oh, Julian, it's going to be Julian, or whatever it be. And it's funny that, 12 years later, 12 years and 3 kids later, we ended up connecting back together, even after, I would see you out on the street, and, one time I gave you a ride, and it was just always like, oh my gosh, Julian, hey, Julian, oh, it's Julian. We at Landmark, hey, Julian, stopping through for some drinks, but it was never like, oh my gosh, me and Julian, we could live happily ever after. And then it was like one day, I don't even know if we had exchanged numbers recently, or if we had talked recently. I don't know what made me reach out to you this particular day. I don't.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, but it's still like, I don't know what in my mind and be like, I don't know if it was the area I was in or what. And I was like, I wonder what Julian is doing. And then I called, and you told me that you were home and you weren't doing anything. And I was like, oh, I'm going to stop by. And I told you I'd be there in 15 minutes, and we pulled up at the same time because you were not home. I don't know where you were, but you wasn't home, but you made it home to meet me there. And yeah, that was it, because that was literally the end all be all. That
we was hanging out. We was hanging out since that day.
Like literally, like since that day, it was like literally. I mean, hanging out every day, every other day. I mean, because we gave each other a lot of space, even, though we were hanging out heavy or talking, or, we decided that we were going to date. And then we decided that we were going to introduce the children to each other. And then we decided that, as Julian say, I decided, hey, let's get married. And, even though I never wanted to be married, never thought about marriage, I remember us having conversations about marriage, and it was like, I could see myself marrying you and living the rest of my life with you. You were the only person that I actually had a, cross examination of actually marrying. So it's funny. But I don't remember pushing the, whatever, the marriage. But,
The button,
it doesn't
right?
matter, 5 years.
Oh, I'll edit that part out. No problem.
It's fine. 5 years later, because you the catch, you the catch. It neither here nor there. 5 years, we here. So
Nah, you the catch, and just kind of piggybacking some of the things that you were saying. Um, that time when you was at Landmark, that was like a period where I really felt like that was the first time that I've been able to think, and be alone and have to, just, you know, care and worry about myself. And I'm pretty sure what that feels like, and how important that is for your mental, and I don't think I've ever given myself that time, until that particular period, to be able to, just get up, go to the gym, go to the market by myself, just think about what I'm getting for myself, go to the movies by myself, really spend time by myself. And contrary to popular belief, I was somebody that was always in your inbox, because regardless of whatever situation, relationship I was in, I've always felt like, even when the days where you used to go up to the movie theater when I used to work there and come watch a movie, I just was always naturally gravitated towards, the person that you were. Not just your beauty, because, I think that goes
it
without
was my
saying
booty.
how
It's
beautiful
okay.
you are. I didn't say booty. I can't talk correctly. I didn't say your booty, but that is included as well too. I'm referring to your beauty, not your booty. Okay. So it's to say that you know that was just naturally there. Like, that's first, that's the thing that's going to, you're going to be captivated by, is, the way you look. But as you get to know the person that is behind that, there's so much beauty to it. And I feel like, regardless of, we talk for a day or 3 years or whatever case may be, I still, felt like, that I was just around you because I was, I was attracted to your sexiness, so.
Oh, so you was using me because I was sexy, is what you're saying.
Well, I wasn't getting no ass from you, so, you know, I was just saying, I just loved, I don't know, even as a kid, I think about how I was as a kid. Like, I grew up just like you, always having to take care of our siblings. So that's all that, even you see now how we take care of each other. It's just a natural way of how that is embedded in us, is ingrained into us. We were talking about your nephew yesterday, and just, we were talking about how he was, and you were saying, like, it's just natural that when you have to grow up young, you're just a caring person, you know. Shit, we see how it is with our kids, so we were just talking about that. But I always enjoy seeing your face when I brought you something, or when I had the money to go and frivolously go and splurge my girl, because I really enjoyed doing those things for you, and seeing your face, and, you giving me hugs and stuff like that. And, that always stuck with me, just seeing the light that was shining in your face. And, even, sometimes now, X amount of years later, and I see that look in your eyes, and I see how you look to me, it just reminds me of those times where we didn't have, of course we had stress because of our, living situations, but it was just us. And I feel like those times where we do look into each other's eyes, and we, it just reminds me of those times where it just was
Right.
us, you know?
Oh, the days.
So yeah, yeah. So um yeah, so I was thinking if it was okay with you that you know, since our life is not only a ongoing, you know, saga, um, and there's so many things to talk about, I was thinking like maybe we could do a day where it's just a day dedicated to what we're doing now, just me and you, and we could just take chapters. Because look, we're already doing that. We
Right.
already did a half an hour.
That's fine. It could be a
You know?
part.
I don't think that. I think there's so many things that we could talk about that will just get mumbled and lost if we just
Right.
try to rush it.
I agree.
And I really think that, you know, people, especially Black people, need to understand um, how important and how serious marriage is, and how serious it is with Black
Right.
people.
And also just really understanding, you know, like your yourself, and you know what I mean, what you can take on, what you can't take on, what is for you, was what isn't for you. And really preparing ourselves. I mean, I don't ever think that we can ever be 100% prepared for anything in life, but um you know, you have to study, you know, test before you take it, you know what I mean? Or 9 times out of 10, you're liable to fail. So just really, when you manifest, just really preparing yourself for what you are manifesting, because no one cannot tell me that I did not manifest being married and being married to you. But the thing is that I, as much as I could have thought that I was prepared, I wasn't prepared for marriage,
No.
100%. And you know, that comes with consequences and lessons along the way. And you know, it's either you know, you go back and you study and you know, be able to pass the next test, or you know, you um I guess you sign up for a new job. You have to get trained in order to, you know, be good at that job. So, you know, it takes time, patience, you know, with even learning yourself, you know, time, patience, compassion, grace, you know, because we're unlearning a lot of things. And that's what I'm trying to grasp now with my children, so they don't have to unlearn, you know, the things that I've had to unlearn and that I'm still unlearning in order to reach my highest self, my highest potential, or, you know, to, you know, really be in this world and sowing seeds that are actually, you know, producing fruit. So, you know,
That's huge, hon. And you know, you always talk about setting bars, and I know one thing: if there was ever, you know, a time where we just, you know, we didn't make it, you know, definitely when you talk about setting the bars, I don't think there would be uh, nobody that would be able to. They would definitely have to meet your standards or higher, as far as what it means to be, you know, with a Black
but
woman.
I don't think,
And
you know, if the universe were to lay the cards in that order, I don't think the universe would, you know, gift you anyone that would be anything less, you know. So I don't think that would be a worry.
yeah, but it's crazy because I look at, you know, not only our growth um, individually, but as you know, a unit. And you know, what you were saying earlier about just, where you said you wasn't prepared, you thought you were, but you weren't. And, I feel like a lot of, include myself too, um, you know, us as, men, black men, have to understand that, um, you know, it's not always like you always used to tell me, Julian, it's not always going to be roses and dandies and for a very long time. And, we talk about consequences and, I feel like, especially earlier in our marriage, I feel like if I was more supportive of what you were saying about being unprepared and trying to figure it out, as you go, and you're contradicting your decisions, and is this a better decision? I'm going from you know you know dose to quadruple people, and I you never really think about really what the other person is thinking and going through, but that where their heart is. And I feel like early in our marriage, I lost sight of where your heart was, and now I do understand that that, and if things were different and that same situation happened, the outcome wouldn't be the same.
I mean, but we can't necessarily. We don't know. You know what I mean. All we know is that you play the hand, and you know what I mean. You play the hand with the cards that you are dealt. So you know what I mean. In our first year of marriage, we were dealt, a very tough hand. So it's like we can't really say what life or marriage would be like if we was dealt a different hand. You know what I mean? We played the hand, and 5 years later.
Yeah, because that first year is when my mom died. Yeah, that first year was when my mom died, and that was tough, and that was tough still. I was only thinking about myself. I wasn't thinking about, I got this lady who has these expectations of me. I've given her these expectations, and I'm crumbling, you know, because I don't know how to deal with this.
But who also knows what have if you know what I mean? Those same cards were dealt, and we weren't together. So
right,
who knows?
Right, because it's a lot of who knows, and it's a lot of things that could have shifted and not have been what it was, during that time.
The thing is that once you're dealt the cards, you have to play the hand.
Sure. So, it's good that you was able to free your schedule, due to our lovely daughter being taken away from us, and going to Houston. How's that make you feel?
It makes me feel grateful because I'm tired. I wanted to say I'm mother flipping tired, but I ain't gonna say it. But I'm tired, and I'm thankful that at this day and age, 33 years old with a 2-year-old toddler, 33 and 35, with a 2-year-old for a toddler, that I have a mom that's in the space that she's in, mentally, physically, emotionally, hopefully spiritually.
I think your mom's growth and her story is a testament by itself.
I'm thankful to have her in the space that she's in, to where she can take our child, and I am mentally okay. And you know what I mean? I can let my hair down and know that my child is all right, because I didn't have that when AJ was a baby, or when AJ was a toddler, you know, because, you know, my mom watched AJ when he was firstborn for a little bit, but that really releasing my mind and letting my hair down, none of those feelings were there then. So I'm
Yeah, because you
right.
had to be on
So
alert all the
I'm
time
thankful
still.
that I have that now, and you know, we have our boundaries, and my mom respects, you know, those boundaries, and you know, the love, and you know, the communication, and you know, the healing journey has begun. So I'm grateful.
That's good. I'm so happy that you know, you have the opportunity to um you know, work on and you know, pristine, you know, relationship with your, you know,
Right.
only living parent, you know, that's huge. Dang, yo, that girl's so lucky, man. She just has so many people
She
that
is a
care about
very
her.
lucky girl.
Don't go home to mama. So I was thinking, well, usually your schedules during the end. I'm not sure how your schedule's going to be now with Juju being gone, but now we have
It's
the freedom to
live,
do it whenever we
baby.
want, really. Yeah. Um, you know, and another thing is, I wanted to be more comfortable with just talking to you on this type of platform where it's open. Um, you know, because, you know, I don't know, like when it comes to you and I don't know, I feel like if I care more about, um, the image that you, that I, I'm trying to, maybe you understand what I'm saying. Like, you know, like your image, you know, like when you see a politician, they have a certain image, you know, I never really thought about that 5 years ago. And I never asked myself the question of what I wanted my image to be when it came to my family and when it came to you. You know, I didn't really start asking myself that until 4 years later, you know. So, but I also learned that, you know, when I, you know, got married to you, um, that, you know, every day should be a refresh. And I really tried to just think about that, you know?
Ooh, look at you getting your superpowers.
No, because I rather focus on loving you. I rather focus on, you know, just just loving you and you know, I feel like when you're angry at, if I feel some type of way about something or angry about something, you could, of course you could feel it. You gonna call my bluff on it like you do, but it just doesn't, it doesn't help with my image. It doesn't help with um my ability to love you any better. If you know, so I really tried to remember
I
those
mean,
things.
well,
It's
that's
hard
with
sometimes
life
because I'm
and with
human, but
everything, you know, even with not being in, you know what I mean, a I guess a platonic relationship, you know, it's that goes for all relationships, the relationship we have with ourselves, you know, the relationships we have with our partners,
yep,
the relationships we have with our friends, you know, that's every, you know, that's just what, just enlightenment and, you know, growing and learning and loving and communicating.
yeah, and yo, when hearing those things, like when you say those things like that, it just brings a warm feeling to my tummy.
Do your tummy want me?
I think because it's just it's the right things to say. You know, it's the right things to, you know, help somebody
It's
get to that next
cliche,
stage.
but the
You
thing is
know.
that, you know,
Oh yeah.
it's it's cliche because it's factual. I guess it's the truth. I feel like all things um are really in plain sight. And it's not really a math problem that needs to be solved, an algebra problem, you know what I mean? It's really just 2 plus 2. equals 4.
You always make it sound easy, but then I'll still be sitting there in the corner trying to put a square in the circle.
Well, that's why God, the universe, the higher power gives us the opportunity daily, so.
Yeah. Daily is the thing. So I'm not going to hold up too much of your day. I know you got a lot of things scheduled today. So come on, just go along with me.
No, I ain't about to get up on out of here, though.
Uh-huh. Oh, I'm going to ask you where you're going after, okay? Off the record, okay? So I was thinking maybe we can put out Wednesday, and it'll just be like, 25, 20, 25 minutes. I feel like this should have been a bigger one because this is like the origin. This is, how two amazing, broken people, came together, to, not only find their own identities, but also the identity of their family, because I feel like that's any successful story of a unity is, what the identity is of your family.
And that's the identity that I'm going with that narrative no more. I am not broken. I was not broken. That was the eyes that I was looking through.
I get what you're saying. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like it's just, I guess what you're saying is what you're, I guess what, like the same perception or product of your environment. And, you think that's all you see or and you don't know any difference,
right.
Kind of like the rose that came through the concrete, what Jay-Z said.
Hold back.
Well, before you go, I just wanted to kind of list off, some of the accomplishments that you have, that I've been able to see with my own two ocular lenses. But first, I just want to give a shout out to, you're the first person I've ever met or known in life where your brand is your brand, your image is your image, and you don't talk shit. You actually show it through your work. And I mean that being, the most talented natural hairstylist I've ever known in life. I'm not just saying that because I'm married to you, but I just want to really give you props for being that shit.
Thank you very much.
So my wife, if anybody does not know, has her own natural hair. She's a natural hairstylist going on, how many years now?
2009, 19, 20, 12 years.
Yep, that's how long Rita Repulsa was in the capsule.
2009 is the year that I graduated from hair school. I got into natural hair in 2008. And I've been in the salon since I was 16, but it wasn't a natural hair salon. My first natural hair salon was 2008.
So did you like, well, you know what? Matter of fact, we're not even going to talk about that. That's a whole other segment. Okay? Because we could talk for another hour and 50 minutes. And before I know, I'll be looking at you while still having this conversation.
Right. By walking through the door.
The house.
Right.
So I just wanted to thank you for being a, allowing me to finally catch up to you and have this much needed, conversation.
Thank you for allowing the universe to do its thing instead of, you know what I mean? Because we've tried to have this sit down many times, and the universe just didn't allow. So I thank you for letting the universe bring us together to do this episode, and hopefully it resonates, even though it wasn't really, about much that people may feel like has a sound basis. But on to the next one.
Nope. This goes perfect with what this platform is about. This is, you know, yeah, it's about encouraging and building up and uplifting and um, you know, black men in the community, fathers, but any successful man has a successful, black woman with him as well too. And I wouldn't be as confident and wouldn't have even thought about elevating my mind to another level if it wasn't for you and the pressure that you put on me to just want to be a better person. Um, I know that a long time ago, if I still had that same mindset that I had when we first got together, that I would have been left in the dust a long time ago. And that's not a bad thing. That's just shows that the level of upgrade that you have resonated just has allowed me to see that. And that's the one thing. If you if you're going to be jealous of your woman, if you're going to be envious of your woman, if you're going to be, non-supportive, and we talked about all the time about how not supportive I've been of, your craft and, your business and, your ability to feed us, that allowed me to take my head out my ass to realize like, okay, I got to do a better job of uplifting and supporting, even if it's not, resonated, or even if it's not, said thank you, that has nothing to do with just supporting your partner. We shouldn't look for nothing in return to do that. And, I had to learn that from you. And, it's something that I slip on from time to time, but I also remember that I have to do better in that. So I feel like if I'm remembering it, if I'm thinking about it, I must be doing a better job. And I try not to get so hard on myself about dropping the ball there. But, again, you're human, but
That's why we all have a
yeah.
chance to,
So
acknowledge, first communicate, because unless we're psychic, we know most of us are, but all of us do not have that ability, to read minds. And, so, well, until we tap into that realm, I should say all of us have not reached that, that part of our, higher self, quote unquote. But that's why we all, again, have a chance to, acknowledge. And, once you have the information, it's our responsibility to apply it or not, and once we do that, the cards fall where they may. So, we all have a responsibility, because it's an action to every reaction, and even non-reaction still, the energy, will still require a reaction, because we think that if we're not moving or saying anything, that it's going to, that's not a reaction. But everything, science, energy, everything, even without us saying it, things are still being said, you know what I mean? So we just have
right.
to, really be mindful and really, take control of that, and really, just do the work. We got to do the work, So I'm thankful for you, doing the work. I'm thankful for you allowing this space and this opportunity, um, you know, to get the work done, and it doesn't happen overnight. So, just be thankful for, you're at the podcast now, for the now. The power of now really, is something that we really have to hone in on, the power of now, because we have no control over the past and we have no control over the future. But what we do have control over is the power of now, this moment, this breath that we're taking, the word that we're saying, the thoughts that we're thinking. So as long as we have the space and opportunity for those things, it's just that we have to just, make do with it. So, yeah, thank you for this platform, whether it's for me, for him, for her, for she, for them. It's here, and the universe is allowing you the space and opportunity. So we just have to take advantage and, be thankful for the moments that we are granted.
I really appreciate your insight today, and it really it set my mood for the rest of the afternoon. So yeah, so we're gonna cut a track for next week, and we're just gonna make it. We're gonna try to do it every week if possible. If not, it'll be every other week. Whatever happens is gonna happen. So if you have anything else from all the next week our topic is going to be definitely on the dynamics of just raising a household,
Okay.
especially a blended family, and talking about just what it means to really be a family, and through our gripes that we have, I really feel like we are really a good, fun household who we've already started the chains of the generational curse breaking. So I just wanted to say thank you for hopping on today, taking an hour of your day today to, talk to, me.
Namaste.
And we're going to get this popping next week. Namaste all day, baby. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on another episode of MelaninDads. You can check out my wife.
My Instagram handle is Miss J Natural Hands at MS _ no, it's at is it Miss J? Oh, it's at MSJAY _ Natural Hands, NATURALHANDS. Facebook is I'm under Natural Hands. If you care to get the non-business side of me, I am on Instagram. That's where I display my yoga, my family, a little bit of ratchetness. That's at Basic Mother, BASICMUVA. And that's open. My Facebook is private, so you guys will not have access to that. Sorry.
So for a second, I thought you were sponsoring somebody else. I was like, wait a minute, you gotta look this up. All right, well, thank you for everybody joining me on another episode of MelaninDads.
No problem.
Thanks again, wife. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Love you. I'll see you in a couple hours.